Spring 1987, Kyiv. An ordinary school on the outskirts of the city, rows of concrete apartment blocks, a courtyard, a small grocery store nearby. Inside, everything follows the same routine as always. The cafeteria is loud. The smell of cooked cabbage hangs in the air. Metal spoons clatter. Kids eat quickly or pick at their food and leave half of it behind. Teachers sit at nearby tables. It's just another normal day, and that's exactly why what happens next doesn't immediately feel like something serious. On March 17th, the first person from that school is admitted to the hospital, then another, then several more. They all complain about similar symptoms: weakness, especially in the legs, numbness, a strange feeling of cold. At first, doctors suspect food poisoning, but something doesn't add up. There's no vomiting, no high fever, none of the typical signs. The symptoms are there, but they don't quite fit. By the end of the day, it's clear this isn't an isolated case. Within a short period of time, 13 people, both students and staff, are hospitalized. 4 of them die, 2 children, 2 adults. At that point, the police get involved. Investigators start piecing things together. They look at who ate, when they ate, what they ate, and one detail quickly stands out. Everyone affected had eaten in the same cafeteria, but not at the same time. That matters. If it had been spoiled food, everyone would have gotten sick. But here, the exposure is selective, which means something was introduced into the food at specific moments. They test everything: the food, the water, the kitchen surfaces. Nothing. The case starts to stall. Then someone remembers a recent death. A nurse dietitian from the same school, Natalia Kukarenko, had died not long before all this happened. At the time, it seemed natural. She had complained about weakness, numbness, problems with her legs. Doctors had attributed it to heart issues. No one questioned it, but now they decide to take another look. Her body is exhumed. The results change everything. Traces of thallium are found. Thallium is a heavy metal used in industry, and at the time, in certain geological applications. It has no taste, no smell, and it acts slowly. Its symptoms can mimic a wide range of illnesses, which makes it extremely difficult to detect without targeted testing. At that moment, the situation becomes clear. This isn't an accident. It's deliberate poisoning. Investigators return to the cafeteria and begin checking every employee. At first, nothing stands out, just ordinary staff, cooks, kitchen workers, cleaners. No obvious criminal history, no clear motive, but gradually attention shifts to one person, Tamara Ivanyutina. She had just started working there in September 1986. Her role was low level, mostly kitchen support and dishwashing. At first glance, she doesn't seem suspicious, but then they check her documents. They're fake. That's the first real red flag. From there, investigators start digging into her past. They discover that she had a prior conviction. More importantly, several people in her personal life had died under unusual circumstances. Her first husband, later other relatives. At the time, all of these deaths had been considered natural. But when the symptoms are re-examined, a pattern emerges: weakness, numbness, gradual decline. The same pattern seen in the school victims. Individually, those cases raise no alarms. Together, they start forming a system. Investigators realize that the school incident isn't the beginning. It's just one part of a much longer chain. At the same time, they uncover the source of the poison. Ivanyutina's family had access to a substance known as Clarici solution, a dense liquid based on thallium compounds used in geology for mineral separation. Through personal connections, they were able to obtain it. That explains how she got access to such a rare and specific toxin. The deeper the investigation goes, the clearer the picture becomes. This wasn't a single incident. It was a series of poisonings that stretched over years. Different sources report different numbers, but we're talking about dozens of incidents and multiple confirmed deaths. It's important to note, the court only considered the cases that could be proven, but even that was enough. According to the investigation, the motives were often mundane: conflicts, irritation, personal inconvenience, not money, not ideology. Everyday situations where poisoning became a way to solve a problem. Ivanyutina wasn't the only one involved. Her sister, Nina Mitsubora, and her parents, Anton and Maria Maslenko, were also prosecuted. Investigators concluded that access to the poison and its use was systematic within the family. The trial took place in the late 1980s. Tamara Ivanyutina was found guilty of multiple murders, including the school case. She was sentenced to death. The sentence was carried out on December 6, 1990, in Kyiv. She is considered one of the last women executed in the Soviet Union. Her sister received a 15-year prison sentence. Her parents were also given lengthy terms. Formally, the case was closed, but the real question isn't just who did it. It's why it went unnoticed for so long. The answer lies in a combination of factors. First, the symptoms. Thallium poisoning is difficult to identify. It mimics other diseases, and without specific testing, it can easily be missed. Second, fragmentation. Each case happened at a different time, with different people, in different contexts. On their own, they look like ordinary medical issues. And finally, perception. No one expects danger in a school cafeteria, a place that's supposed to be safe, and no one expects it from someone in a low-status, invisible role. That matters. Suspicion doesn't naturally fall on people who aren't seen as threats, and that's exactly what allowed this to continue for so long. That's what makes this case so unsettling. Danger doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it looks completely ordinary, and that's why it can go unnoticed for far too long.